Okay, I'm back again with another video. This time we're talking about a specific type of fish tank. It's actually drawn out for us this time, which is a little bit nicer than usual. We got to draw it ourselves. It says a fish tank. It's a rectangular prism, which you can see drawn there, with dimensions shown, is filled to the top with water. So it's filled to the top with water. Then after that, it says 3.75 liters of water is removed from the tank. A solid toy treasure chest shaped like a rectangular prism measuring 6 by 5 by 4 inches is dropped into the tank. How high is the water in the tank in centimeters? So again, we're looking at something happening here. We're going to be looking at starting off with a full tank filled with water. Then we remove 3.75 liters. And then we have to add in the treasure chest. So really it starts off full. Okay. We remove some water, which puts it at a level. I'm just making an arbitrary line here. And then, of course, it's going to go up a little bit because we put the treasure chest in. So again, we have kind of like a little layer of difference there, a change. So we have a height there and a height there. H sub 1, H sub 2, you can call them, or just heights 1 and 2. So why don't we start by figuring out first just how much there is in there, because we've got to figure out the height there to do that. So I would suggest we start by doing that. So let's figure out where it's at. There's many ways to do this. You don't need to do it the way I'm doing it either. There's many ways to do it. So let's start with probably the easiest way to do it, which would be starting off by finding the volume of the tank. So the volume of the tank would be base area times height, of course. And these are all in feet and inches and all kinds of different units. And since it's subtracting out liters and the last answer is supposed to be in centimeters, I'm thinking metric system is the best way to go. So I'm going to convert, this is already in centimeters. I'm going to convert the feet by multiplying by 12 and then multiplying by 2.54 to give me 106.68 centimeters. No longer that distance. And then times 2.54 will give me 37.846 centimeters. And you can round in there as hundredths or thousandths. It doesn't really matter that much. If it's rounded at all, it's probably not. And then from there, we can say that the volume would be all those amounts multiplied together. So if I multiply all these together, which I'm not going to write all those down, but you multiply all three of these together, you get a volume of 96,090.39 centimeters cubed. Then from there, I'm going to convert this to liters. Or I can leave it in centimeters cubed. Actually, let's do that. And we'll just subtract the liters. So the liters would be times 1,000, 1, 2, 3. So I have to subtract from this 3,750 liters to get the new amount. Remember, we are at the new amount because right here, this is the amount after we subtract this right here. Because what we have to do is we have to figure out the new amount after we take out the 3.75 liters. So that gives us, looks like about 90, and this is an approximate, let's be exact. I get about 92,340. Let's just call it 0.39 is good enough. And that's centimeters cubed. That's my new amount now when I subtract this. Okay, now I got to figure out what the treasure chest is. Let's figure out that treasure chest. So it says it's 6 by 5 by 4. So let's just take 6 times 5 times 4, which is 120 inches cubed. And let's convert that to centimeters cubed. So again, we have to be all in the same unit. 2.54 cubed to give us the treasure chest now in the correct amount, which is centimeters cubed. And that's 1966.45 centimeters cubed. Now I got to add that volume. So my thought is, why don't I add that volume? Let's add that here. Add the volumes together. So let's take and add together the 92 amount. So watch this. Let's think about how this would work. I'll try and explain this in a minute. Let me write it down first. 92,340.39 plus the treasure chest. We're adding the amount after you take out the 3.75 liters of water plus the treasure chest. That's my volume, right? And that's going to equal the base area times the height. Over here, the height is a question mark. We don't know what the height is, but I have the base area. All I got to do is multiply the two amounts to equal the base, which are the 23.8 and the 106.68. So I put in 23.8 times 106, barely fit it in here, sorry about that, 0.68 times H. Then let's divide both sides by the 23.8. And again, use your calculator, use a parentheses for this, 106.68. And as always, if I'm going too fast, go ahead and Go ahead and turn it down, or you could pause it or something. Now I got 23.8 times 106.68. This will give me the new height. That new height is this amount here now because I added the treasure chest. So now there's new height amount here, which we called 8 sub 2. And if I do that and go through all the trouble of this, you should get, I believe, 37.14 equals the height. Again, this is only one way to do it. There are other ways to do it too. You could take and find the height of just the difference here. Like, in other words, find the height of this space right here and here by using this volume right here. You could do that. Find that height. That height comes out to be about 0.78 or something like that, I believe. And then you can add that height to the height we had before, which if you calculate it, you can calculate the height of the 90 of this amount right here, the height after you subtract this height right here. Take that height and add it to that height for this, those two heights together, the two highlighted areas, and that would give you the same height also. You get the same amount of 37.14. So the final answer is 37.14, and that's, of course, in centimeters.